Syria, already shattered by 9 years of war, has banned entry for foreigners arriving from many countries hit by the coronavirus as part of widening measures to combat the epidemic. Although the regime says it has yet to document any infections, Syria is seen at high risk from the virus. Coronavirus infections have also yet to be recorded in the large parts of Syria outside government control, the east, northeast, and northwest. Iran said that the coronavirus has killed 149 more people, raising the country's official death toll from the disease to 1,433. Deputy Health Minister Alireza Raisi said 1,237 more cases have been confirmed over the past 24 hours, and 19,644 people are now known to have been infected in Iran, one of the world's worst hit countries. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, in a speech on state television, praised Iranians for their dazzling sacrifices in fighting the coronavirus outbreak. Yemeni concerns over the spread of the new coronavirus are mounting, and like everyone else, thousands of detainees in Houthi prisons will be in a possible confrontation with the pandemic in light of the deterioration of the health sector and the absence of necessary care for prisoners. Geneva-based SAM Organization for Rights and Liberties called on Yemen's conflicting authorities to release all detainees held across prisons in Yemen as a precautionary measure against the virus. The call to release the detainees comes at a time government sources estimate the presence of more than 18,000 prisoners in Houthi detention camps. Most of those arrested are political prisoners Houthis detained over the years. Saudi Arabia announced new emergency stimulus measures on Friday that took its support for the economy to more than $32 billion. The Saudi Central Bank said last week it had prepared a 50 billion riyals, which is $13.32 billion package to help banks and small and medium-sized enterprises cope with the economic impact of the coronavirus. Under the package announced by Finance Minister Mohammed Al-Jad'an, 70 billion riyals will be set aside to help businesses with measures such as exemptions and postponements of some government fees and taxes. The head of the Command and Control Center in the Riyadh region, Mohammed Tuwaijeri, confirmed that preventive measures to combat the new coronavirus outbreak are being implemented with relevant authorities and boards convening daily to assess the situation. Tuwaijeri pointed out that arrivals in the country over the last period are being quarantined in 5-star and 7-star hotels. He noted that 13 hotels in Riyadh have been equipped and transformed into quarantines. He highlighted that more hotels are available for transformation should the need arise as the kingdom continues to evacuate citizens from the coronavirus-hit countries worldwide. Citizens brought back are being quarantined for 14 days. Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization (PLO), Saeb Erekat, said Israel has increased the number of settlements by 25% annually since the beginning of U.S. President Donald Trump's term in 2017. Erekat said the intensification of the Israeli colonial activities is an integral part of the annexation and settlement plan of Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Erekat explained that the ignorance and arrogance of Trump's Middle East team has led to blind political ideology, which could be considered a threat to international law. He also indicated that this has allowed the figures to continue growing as they deny Palestinians their rights. Major General Ahmed al-Mismari, spokesman for the Libyan National Army, led by Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar, said that the Army's General Command was mulling calls by the UN mission, friendly countries, and the Libyan people for an immediate cessation of hostilities in Tripoli to confront the novel coronavirus. Mismari said he expected the Army leadership to make a decision in the coming hours despite many obstacles, mainly ongoing threats and the rising number of Syrian mercenaries and Turkish elements in Libyan territories. The National Army spokesman reiterated that Turkish and Syrian mercenaries constitute a major threat to the country. Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri has met with Tanzanian leaders to press Cairo's case in the dispute with Ethiopia over the Nile Dam on his third stop in Africa. Shukri met with his Tanzanian counterpart and delivered a message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to the Tanzanian president to explain Cairo's position on the dam that Ethiopia is building on the Blue Nile and the latest developments in the negotiations with Addis Ababa. An Egyptian Foreign Ministry statement said Shukri was unable to meet with the Tanzanian president, who was visiting flood-stricken areas in his country. The U.S. has suspended all non-essential traffic across its borders with both Mexico and Canada as it battles to control the coronavirus outbreak. Meanwhile, New York State order has told non-essential businesses to close a day after a similar move by California. Countries around the world are stepping up restrictions to combat the virus. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, announced in a press release that following official communication by the Office of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and consultations with the agency's Advisory Commission, Philip Lazzarini has been appointed as its new Commissioner General. Lazzarini will assume the position that Christine Saunders has been acting since November 2019, when the former UNRWA Commissioner General resigned. Guterres had recommended Lazzarini to lead the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, earlier this month. The agency's headquarters are divided between the Gaza Strip and Amman. Signs of confrontations emerged in the countryside of Idlib province between Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and Huras al-Din amid the criticism of a human rights network over violations committed in the northwest of Syria. A pro-opposition website said that the Huras al-Din attacked Turkish soldiers on the M4 highway. Earlier, the Turkish Defense Ministry said 2 Turkish soldiers were killed and others were injured in Idlib in a rocket attack by some radical groups on the Aleppo Latakia road. The Egyptian Ministry of Communications and Information Technology has issued directives to officials to allow the Health Ministry's hotlines available to citizens for free. This service will be offered for clients of the 4 mobile operators as well as for the fixed landline users. The move comes in light of the Communications Ministry's contribution to spreading medical awareness among people. It also comes as part of the state's precautionary measures to confront the novel coronavirus pandemic. Egyptian authorities in the neighboring governorates of Cairo and Giza decided to apply deterrent measures against those violating the government's decision to close restaurants, cafes, and malls overnight in a bid to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus. Egypt reported 46 new coronavirus cases and a fatality, bringing the total number of patients to 256 and raising the death toll to 7. The Cairo authorities said that the governorate would shut down shops violating the decision and seal them with red wax, meaning they would not be reopened without a security permission. Egypt's Ministry of Health called on all Egyptians returning from Saudi Arabia after performing Umrah to isolate themselves at homes for 14 days as a preventive measure against the spread of coronavirus COVID-19. The ministry spokesperson called on everyone who has any symptoms of the virus to go directly to the nearest fever hospitals or contacting hotline to inquire about any information related to the spread of coronavirus. The Egyptian government is taking gradual steps in dealing with the coronavirus spread, starting from banning the study at schools and universities and suspending the international flights to the end of March. California, the most populous U.S. state, has ordered its residents to stay at home as it tries to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. In the most dramatic preventive measure yet by a U.S. state, Gavin Newsom issued a directive asking residents not to leave their homes but when necessary during the pandemic. The governor estimated that more than half of the 40 million people in his state would contract COVID-19 in just the next 2 months.